Okay, guys, thank you for joining. Those who are joining live, it's always way more fun to see live people on a screen than just either names or just doing it on a blank screen because it's a recording. So thank you. I pray and actually let's just pray together. And instead of me telling you what I'm praying, let's all pray together. Dear Lord Jesus, thank you for this time that we have to focus on the reasons that you've brought this business into our lives in this season on the calendar, in this season in our country, this season in Mary Kay, this season in our lives, Lord. I pray that those who are listening to a playback or those who are listening to this live, Lord, that we'll settle ourselves down and just to an unhurried state so that we can hear what you need us to hear. We can see what you need us to see, Lord, so that as we proceed in this last quarter of 2024, we're better prepared because you already know what January holds for us. You know what tomorrow holds for us. It's all part of your plan. I pray we are more confident and equipped to walk that out. I ask this all in Jesus' name. Okay, guys, I, again, thankful that you're here. Just like you are thankful when a hostess actually has people or someone actually answers the phone, that never ends. You just, as you're building your business, you get more accustomed to people not doing what they say they're going to do or not plugging in or not being there. And so, but the same thing still happens to a director, to a national. That's why I see the wisdom in Mary Kay not allowing us to buy our way into this like you can in some multi-level companies, and not allowing us to just get a position because of our degree, which my degree probably qualified me to be a director, top director, or national, but I did not know how to do this until I walked through all the things that you all are currently walking through. So I know that we'll have some brand new consultants listening to this, and we have more seasoned consultants. I promise you there will be something for everyone. I do want to share with you right now, we're in a pretty volatile season in our country and in our world. I think we all can agree. Like turning on the news, you're just saying, okay, I need some more stress in my life. I'd like to have some more things to worry about that I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Obviously, we know to vote. We all know to vote. But other than that, there's all this other stuff going on that can make you anxious, angry, concerned, and distracted too. And so if you are feeling in this time period anxious, angry, concerned, I shared a message in the 1-year Bible study. So it's on my YouTube. And I encourage you to go and check that out. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, do that, because then when new things are posted, then you'll automatically get a notice. But the message in the 1-year Bible study, it was, I was in Jeremiah, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, Timothy, and then Psalms and Proverbs. So you go through the whole Bible in a year. And I spent a lot of time, God had me in Jeremiah. And that Jeremiah 29:11, for I have plans for you, not to harm you, to prosper you. You know, everyone loves to quote that, but how many people have read 29:1-10 versus just starting at 11? Those people were in captivity, which means they were slaves. They were taken captive by the Babylonians. And you hear what God says, plant fields, get married, be productive, work, not sit there and stare at a TV and don't do anything. So that message, if you are feeling any of that in this time period, I encourage you, because it was a message to myself that I needed for myself, because I can get myself pretty, anxious about what if the power grid goes down? What if, do we need a solar generator? We have a generator. Oh, do we need food? All the things. I'm a planner. I'm a win-win girl. And there's sometimes that God's like, simmer down. I'm in control. I'm still on my throne. Get off of it. And this is how we behave when you're not on the throne and you're not God. And so that message may be timely and beneficial for you. Another place you could check out my YouTube, in case you're new. You can subscribe to that, but also my website is just got rebuilt. So it still has some tweaks happening, but it's still the same address, Dawn Otten-Sweeney.com. But if you haven't gone there in a while, check it out. Totally new look. And what I have done is made the website the things that we train on in our area. So it's not stuff people can find on Mary Kay in Touch. If you can find it on Mary Kay in Touch, it doesn't need to be on my website. So it is stuff that I refer to, I use. Any of the things I talk about today, you would be able to find them there. You know, team 30, 50, 100, team profits for having 100 skincare customers, a weekly plan sheet, all new consultant training packet, all that stuff is there. Plus there'll be more. And there is and will be more backup for all my Facebook tutorials, classes, all the backup, paper backup will be there on the website. Also too, if you're brand new, you may not know that I have a Facebook business page. And so that's a place that I recognize our area, but also I share what God's teaching me. You know, you're not going to see what I had for dinner. You're not going to see my grandson. You're not going to see my exercise outfit. You're not. You're going to see what God is showing me, because I believe when he shows you something, sometimes he's like, this is just for you, simmer down. But very often he's sharing it with me to share with you. That's why he puts people in leadership positions. Also, I share a lot of classic Mary Kay, and that there's a whole section on my website that is getting added in classic Mary Kay resources. So, how I use resources. So all the things I just talked about, I'm assuming you make use of them. So I'm a college teacher. I'm not an elementary teacher. An elementary or preschool teacher gives you the work and then sits there and supervises you doing the work and then says, you did such a good job, even though she did most of it herself. I am not a preschool teacher. A national sales director is a college teacher. A sales director is high school, and then she progresses to college as she grows to a Cadillac unit, and then a national sales director. We're helping people get their PhDs. So we will point you to the resources, but that's your responsibility, is to make use of the resources. Boot camp is the first. Boot camp, the 6 series. The recruiting series is next. So if you're new or you haven't done this yet, I want you to write down schedule MK student time. So take notes, because there's going to be things I want you to share with your director. And this is a working workshop. Like there's going to be assignments. There's going to be, this is to instigate a great finish to Double Credit October. This is to instigate a great momentous finish to 2024. So when you wake up January of 25, you're where you want to be. Because I was always taught in Mary Kay that right now you're experiencing what you did in the last 90 days in your business. And so if you look at that, we're in mid-October, so that'd be August, September, October. So what were you doing the end of July to right now? And then is it the momentum and the results that you want 90 days from now when we start a new year? If not, then we want to use this to increase momentum. And the great thing about momentum in any endeavor is that it's easier to keep momentum going than to get it going. So if you have momentum going right now, like Donna, newest red jacket in our area, you keep it going. You don't, because it takes more energy to get the plane up flying than it does to keep it going. So once you get it up flying, momentum is just a priceless resource. And it's one of the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership that John Maxwell teaches. But he said that it calls it the big momentum. It makes you really look better than you are. And lack of momentum makes you feel like you're less than you really are. And it's not you, it's just you haven't had the momentum. That's why with new consultants, and you may be watching this going, I just needed to be a new consultant. You know, either you really are restarting your business, which I know some of you are, or you're at a place where I need a fresh start. That may be your fall focus, fresh start. So print off a new consultant training packet. I mean, your director probably has one. If she doesn't, print the one off my website. It's not specific to my unit. But go through, listen to the welcome video, listen to the business strategy video, ask yourself, am I running this like a business owner versus an order taker? Because business owners make a lot more money. They have a lot higher reorders. They invest less. I mean, they make more per hour because they're not, spending time getting products ordered, getting them to people, getting them to themselves, and then getting them to people. I mean, they pirate ship their own stuff out. They don't have to be at the whim of supply chain issues. And with limited edition stuff, they don't have to worry. I mean, I just heard the Bolara lotion was sold out. I mean, people got a sample of that in their PCP, so they were ordering it. Once it's gone, it's gone. There's nothing you can do about that because the company can't make an unlimited amount of limited edition. That's why it's called limited edition. All retailers do this. Right now, they have Halloween stuff out. By the Halloween day, everything's going to be liquidated. Then Christmas is already out. Day after Christmas or Christmas Day, everything gets liquidated. We're retailers. We manage, and you're taught to manage your inventory the same way. In the training packet, it's a perfect start. Booking 8 parties to hold 5. That might be a great assignment for you today. You're going to have work time. We're going to get done early. I schedule things 10 to 12, but do know I am not going to be talking till 12. You are going to have a chunk of time to make use of this because you've already scheduled it, right? So if you've already scheduled it, we're going to use it, and you're going to use it for income producing activities. So that's why you have a Mary Kay student time. That's not an income producing activity, but you need to do it. Just like I have a friend who is like an inch away from getting her PhD, her doctorate. She's working on her dissertation. Holy crow, it's a lot of work. I've gotten my PhD by working in Mary Kay, but she has to schedule. She still has a job. She's a clinical psychologist already. And so she already has patients and people that are SOS calls and all the stuff that you deal with in that job, plus getting her dissertation. She can't just ignore her patients because that income pays her bills, but she also can't not be a student or she'll never have doctor in front of her name and she won't reach that goal. So in Mary Kay, you have your student time and it never ends. It never ends. Those of you who've been with book studies with me, I mean, I look back, like I was that nerdy girl that started in book study when she was probably in 3rd or 4th grade, and I've never left it. Now it's just Bible studies. That's the book that I circle back around to and anchor into. But I love being able to read and learn, because if you don't continue to learn, even after you know Mary Kay basics, if you don't continue to learn how to grow in your leadership, your communication, your time management, all the stuff that God will continue to teach us, you will get to a place where you can't progress any farther in your business because you're not going to be able to lead other people, teach other people what you do not know. And all of us right now, we've gotten to where we're at, myself included, by what I know and what I was willing to do. I've done my best. I can honestly tell you, I've done my best for 38 years in my Mary Kay business. Sometimes more time, sometimes less, depending on what was going on in life. But my best is not going to get me to where I know God is asking me to grow our area to. And when you grow your business, number of skincare customers, number of new faces, number of interviews, number of team members, obviously quarter sales goes in that because that's faces in that sales sharing the product. Nothing happens until someone sells something, Mary Kay Ash always said. But if you don't continue to challenge your thinking and change your thinking, and one of the things on, I think it's the Get to Know Dawn or Tools and Resources, is my top 30 reading list. And if you want a recommendation, I'm happy to give it to you. But when you change your thinking, when you have a new thought, you can make a different choice. And when you make a different choice, a different action happens. And a different action done repetitively turns into a different habit. And a habit turns into your life, which turns into your legacy. Like it's a big fat deal. So scheduling that time to be a lifelong learner in your business, and you're going to get to the point where I can do a skincare class in my sleep. Many of you are like stressing out about doing a party. You will get to the point by the time you do enough of them, a power start of anything, 10 parties, you know what you don't know, and the boot camp training is going to mean more. But 10 of anything, 10 Facebook parties, 10 Zoom parties, 10 interviews, 10 success meetings, 10 events, 10, 10 of anything gets you to the point where you know what you don't know and you're feeling pretty proficient in it. And the next power start, you start owning it. And it doesn't happen any other way. I've seen people in this business for years and years and years, and they're still saying, I don't have enough bookings or enough leads. I mean, that means you're not using the resources and you have not applied them and done the income producing activities enough to own it. And you guys, I don't know about you, but I don't like that feeling. I don't like feeling like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I believe that the women that we recruit into Mary Kay are women of excellence. When they do something, they like to do a really good job with it, whether it is taking care of their home, being a wife or mother, taking care of their bodies, taking care of their business, their other jobs, etc. And so because of that, it means that we're going to have to practice it a lot. It's a training versus trying, right? So our best has gotten us right now to this fall focus. Our best is not going to get us to the next step. So scheduling in that time, and the student time, maybe like getting familiar with my website. Like I've put a lot of time and still investing a lot of time with the designer of it to make sure that the things that God has given me, that I train with and share, that are based in Mary Kay, Daleen White, Debbie Moore, and Kathy Halou, are out there and can live beyond my active NSD, because they've served me very well. I know that they're things that will serve you very well too. So I said new season. So it's a new season on the calendar, fall. I'm looking at gorgeous. I wish you could see all around my house. The trees are orange and red and they're absolutely beautiful. And it's a blue sunny sky. It's fall. Down south, that means a hurricane could come at any time. It's a new season in Mary Kay. We are post-pandemic. We are solidly, we know the advantages of using the virtual business to spread our reach and do things like this. But we also are really clear on we can't live in just that, because the personal relationships that you have with people are the glue that make Mary Kay different than any other company out there. It is not surprising that we're the #1 selling line of skincare and color in direct sales, because you guys, no one else in direct sales emphasizes relationships. And so we were worried when the pandemic started, those of us who grew up with, oh no, we're the in-person people. It's around the kitchen table. It's around a table. It's, it's in your home. It's in a studio. But we couldn't. And in my state, we couldn't for much longer than most of you in Michigan. We really are just starting to gather back together, and it's nowhere near the size of events and meetings used to be. But what I have seen is that gathering together with those events are critical, because this part is wonderful and I love that I can do this. But if I can't see you sometime for real in flesh and blood, it doesn't have the same glue. If I can't see you at a fall retreat, if I can't see you at leadership conference or at career conference or at events that I host or seminar is the one that you can see everyone. And you guys, leadership conference, any of you can get 8 active and go into DIQ November 1st. You have until the end of December to be a sales director to come with us to leadership. The leadership qualifications are minimal still, because we need sales directors, but they will go up. That will change. I have seen this pendulum go back and forth. The company opens up doors. We need directors because we have so many nationals retiring. So you need 20 directors to replace the national. So it's easier to get in. They're incentivizing you like crazy with up to $6,000 in new director bonuses, which I had a unit number. That's what I got in my first year. And then I qualified for a Cadillac in 9 months. So I think it said I was a super achiever Cadillac winner or something like that. That was it. It was a title. I didn't get any extra money for that Cadillac, any extra money for new director programs. We didn't even have new director programs. But so know that if you're a leader, you need to tell your director, and directors need to tell me if there's a leader inside of you, a giant that's just screaming to get out, because we want you with us in San Antonio. There's a lot of nationals retiring. If you decide after San Antonio, I don't want to be a director anymore, there's no shame in that game. Those people, you go back to your parent unit and you can operate with lots of recruits, probably $1,000 plus, 13% checks, a lot of new customers, because you have to find new faces to find those team members. It gives you a non-negotiable finish line to push through to grow your business, just like the new consultant training packet. Take that seriously. Perfect Start, Power Start, Pearls. Take this opportunity seriously, because you're going to get, it's like an internship. Come to San Antonio with us. Dates are already set. It's the 6th through 9th of January in San Antonio. And you're going to get to see many nationals retire. That's going to be awesome training. And again, if you decide on the other side of it, you don't want to be a sales director, fine. I had 3 summers of internships in college and changed my major after every single one because I hated the job that 90 days so much that I could not bear the thought of having to do it for the rest of my life or even for a whole year or 2. And so do it like an internship. I love that in Mary Kay. In other jobs, you can't do that. You're going to get fired. HR is like, okay, done. Bye-bye. Nope, we don't do that. In Mary Kay, it's like, try it. Why not? Just like we say, try the business, see how it goes. If it goes good, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. You guys, leadership is the same. I will tell you, though, that the only way you can fail is to quit. I was taught that at my new consultant training with Debbie Moore. Only way. And that held me through a lot, because in the people business, you know what? People are brutal, and they're getting more and more brutal. Like everyone's the boss of themselves. And we joke about my daughter being the boss of herself, but there's one thing being independent. There's another that it's total lawlessness and lack of respect for leadership and authority. And that is running rampant in our country. I mean, we see evidence of it all over, and it's filtered into our Mary Kay too. And it's not serving people well. When people Debbie Moore was my director. And so when she said, every Monday night, block it off, that's your success meeting, I blocked it off. I did my kids' birthday dinners a different night. They never cared. We did an anniversary dinner a different night if it fell on that day. My family, they'll tell you, they have no ill feelings about Mary Kay at all, because they had a birthday dinner. Actually, I was at leadership for a lot of their birthdays, because those are the only 2 company events I missed, are the 2 leaderships that I was getting kindergarten-sized babies pulled out of my body. And so with Debbie Moore, I wanted her position. So I just listened to her. I didn't say, well, I'm going to do it my own way. Yeah, you say inventory's business owner, but I'm going to be an order taker. But then you're not making enough money, and your people go to someone else because they can get inventory, and that's golden rule for a customer. She gets to choose where she goes if you are not servicing her with the golden rule, meaning servicing her how you want to be serviced. And I want to be serviced with inventory on the spot. Just like if I went into a mall or a Merle Norman or Ulta, they'd give me the products when I paid for it. So that's what I'd want. So I want a consultant that goes to events like this. I want a consultant who's a lifelong learner. She understands our company. She's read Mary Kay's autobiography. She's gone a step farther and found Pass It On by Jennifer Cook, Mary Kay's assistant for 25 years. She has the limited edition products. She offers me the clinical solutions information. She has me on PCP. That's golden rule for customer service for customers, treating them. That's what's made us number one. And that's what's going to keep us number one. So there's the season on the calendar, season in Mary Kay, season in our country and world, and you know, new season for you. Again, I'm going to start there. New season for you. Some may be brand new, or some are like, I'm restarting. I need to go back and shore up the foundation. I don't know if you've ever, like at our lake house, we have an 80-year-old boathouse. So you walk downstairs instead of going down a grass hill to get to the lake through this house, which back in the day, they pull boats into it. We just store stuff in it and walk out on the dock on it, but it's 80 years old. And we had to do some serious reconstruction on the foundation because it was crumbling into the lake. The sliding glass doors were probably 50 years old. They were falling into the lake. The front wall, we found out, was never patched in. It was an addition. And so then when we put fieldstone on it, it had a gap this big one winter away from the wall heading towards the lake. It needed to have its foundation shored up, or that boathouse was going to be gone, and you cannot build them any longer on the lake for environmental reasons. So, I mean, with your business, this is a great time to shore up the foundation. And whenever you want to shore up a foundation, you go back to the new consultant, Perfect Start, Power Start, Pearls. Are you going to do it in a month? Are you going to do it in 2 weeks? Are you going to do it in a week? Back in the day, it was a Perfect Start 1 week, another one the next week, and you did your Pearls of Sharing all in that time. We were given 2 weeks. That was it. And I had an 80 to 100 an hour a week job. And Debbie said, okay, great. Yeah, and thanks for sharing. I mean, this is the time frame, and this is, make your list of 20 people that have skin. This is what you say. And on my new consultant section is the Perfect Start and Power Start script. And I never do anything different. Some of you are like, okay, I'm going to leadership conference, so that I'm going into a leadership training program instead of saying you're new. I am, anyone can say they're going into a leadership training program, even if you're not going to leadership, because you want to learn more about leadership and leading women and building your business. You know, I'm in a challenge between now and the end of the month. I need to get the opinion of 60 women on our product, which is better for you, virtual or in person. Okay, this date or this date. Okay, and then you figure out what you're going to do with it. I mean, as long as they can see you, so it could be Zoom, FaceTime, in person, and you're teaching them how to cleanse, exfoliate, tone, moisture balance, and protect. And you have a sheet set closed, preferably you've demoed out of a roll-up bag, and you say which set's best for you. That counts. If you don't say which set's best for you, or give her buying options, or say go shop on my website, that's a presentation. That's not really a face. That's not an education. We educate how to take care of your skin. They can use Skin Analyzer app. They can use Skincare Profile. But you go through, if you're new or you want to rebuild a foundation, your new consultant. Perfect Start, Power Start, and Pearls of Sharing. So I want you guys to after you listen to this, your director know, what's your game plan between now and the end of October? Because this is a big month. I doubt the company's cutting back on double credits. I highly doubt. I'm open to be pleasantly surprised, but my professional best guess is there will not be another double credit this seminar year. So every single dollar you get in is worth more. And when you get to June, if you're brand new and you don't even know, you're going to be really happy in June that you did a lot of wholesale. You can max out at 2,000 wholesale. And actually, when you do like 6,500 wholesale, you're getting the amount that you normally get plus the double credit. That's the first time they've ever done that. So, you know, are you going to max out, figure out how you're going to sell that product between now and the end of the month to get that order in? Or maybe you don't have inventory. You need to invest because, I mean, you started with 225, 600, 1,800. Honestly, when I started, write yourself a paycheck was 3,600. It was, you know, 20 roll-up bags plus one of everything. Now you would have to double that because of inflation, cost of products. That would be 7,200 to have 20 roll-up bags. You still won't, you're not going to have one of everything. and you don't honestly need one of everything. So we teach you how to strategically use CDS for things that people don't need immediately and buy as frequently. So this, I mean, it could be your season in your Mary Kay business. Do you have the momentum that you want and need? If not, Perfect Start, Power Start Pearls for all of you, directors and consultants. And what's the time frame that you're going to do it in? So directors, anything that I'm asking the consultants to give to you, I want you to give to me. So by the end of October, what's the game plan? Because Perfect Start, Power Start Pearls is teaching you how to retail. You're getting more customers, you're sharing products, you're teaching skincare, and you're sharing the opportunity. So by the end of October, and then we're looking at this being our fall focus. So then what is it going to be, in November? And what is it going to be in December? So that you're at where you want to be. Where do you want to be January 1st? See, we always start with the end in mind and you back it up. But right now, when you have a double credit opportunity for your sales, for your team building, 6 agreements, if they all get Great Start qualified in a 4-month time period, that equals 12. That's half of a diamond and gold bumblebee. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a big boost. And all those dollars, they're counting towards your unit club for your director. And the higher her unit club is, the bigger exposure she has to people who think differently and work differently. Different training is available to her. She's asked to do different training. And then for our area, same thing. All of it is all double. So that, Perfect Star, Power Star Pearls takes care of it all. Just how many times are you going to do it between now and the end of October? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, whatever's better for you. But next season, we're always in a next season of life, you guys. And I will tell you, when people aren't building their Mary Kay business because of the season of life, whether it's right now, I'm an aging parent, taking care of 2 aging parents and an aging aunt because all the family's gone on my husband's side of the family, and then a new grandma. So doing that. But when I started, I was 23. I was working 80 to 100 hours a week. I had just graduated from college. I was engaged. My husband was going to be stationed somewhere as a federal agent, and we didn't know where. It would be in the United States, but we didn't know where exactly that was going to be. That's when I started my business. And then the first 24 months of my business, we were far, far away on a border of Arizona and Mexico for my husband's job, and I knew no one. And then 24 months after that, he got transferred and we moved to St. Simon's Island, Georgia. So I've done this all over the country without family, people not understanding a word I'm saying, with the flip chart in Spanish, brochures, and sales tickets in Spanish. And then moving my first month of DIQ with no director doing meetings in that town. So it was me doing skincare classes, doing a Perfect Start, Power Start Pearls. Perfect Start, Power Start Pearls, take people with you. Perfect Start, Power Start Pearls, take new people to train with you. And then, earned a Cadillac 9 months later, had first baby. He needed open heart surgery in 3 months, earned first trip, pregnant with my daughter, lived there for 8 years, did toddlers there, moved to Michigan, because at my husband's 10-year anniversary from a very golden handcuff job, being a federal agent that people stay in for their whole life, for the retirement and the benefits. But ironically, it's interesting how God is like shaking people's idols. When people's idol is their security with the job, my husband's job was secure until 9/11 happened. And then all those agencies were changed around. And I can tell you right now, if my husband was a Border Patrol agent, he would either be taking drugs or he would kill someone or he would be the angriest man on the planet. So God knows what he's doing. When you look in retrospect, you're just like, oh, that's why God gave us that, okay, you pay off all your bills, which I had to increase my income to pay off all our bills, because in a normal job, you can't just pay off all your bills just because you want to move to a different place. We want to move home. My husband's an only child, to be here with aging parents, so our kids would know their grandparents. So looked at everything, that we needed to pay off. So in addition to what I was already doing in Mary Kay, sold more and recruited more. I've done that when my kids went to college. I was fixing to get around to their college fund, just never happened. So had to increase my income for them to go to college debt free. But we had paid for private Christian schools along the way too. But all these things we could do debt free on the other side, because in Mary Kay, all of you are consultants. You have a consultant number. You are no longer allowed in your life to say, I can't afford something. You can only say you're unwilling to work for it. And that's a very different discussion. I can't afford something is what employees can say. Once you're an entrepreneur and you have a Mary Kay business, that people buy skincare and wash it down the drain, and alcohol, tobacco, and cosmetics do well during bad economies or down economies, which we're going to talk about that in our country right now. But your season of life, I will tell you, I am not the person to talk to if you want sympathy, because I can't build my Mary Kay business now because I'm getting divorced. I am divorced. I'm widowed. I have aging parents. I have little kids. I have terrible teens. Finances aren't good. Finances are great. I don't need any money. My, husband this, my in-laws that, my mom this, my sister that, my friends this, illness that, death that, all of it. That's all life. I guarantee you there's some seasons you can work more when life is happening, which all those things are life. Like an emergency is when a tornado hits your house and you had no idea it was coming. That's an emergency. Someone drops dead and they weren't sick. A car accident happens and they die. That's an emergency. The other things that I just shared are life. If you will work your Mary Kay business in and through life, and when it's more of a calmer season, because we know we're either headed into a storm in life, we're in a storm, or we're headed out of a storm. That's the ebb and flow of life. But if you will work it in and through life, I guarantee you, when my son had 3 TET spells in a 24-hour time period, which means his heart just clamped up, turned blue because no oxygenated blood was flying through it, and lost consciousness. We were went down to University Hospital in Jacksonville, air ambulance 3 days later, and Jake 2 weeks after that. They had to stabilize him, but then he wasn't considered high risk. And they said, Memorial Day's coming up, there'll be a car accident and a heart will come for this child who's next on the list, and then Jake will have his surgery. You guys, that's an emergency, and that's before cell phones. I mean, literally, just my husband and I disappeared for 3 weeks from everything that was going on. But what was so interesting is that my customers were still washing their face. My directors in surrounding areas that I'd done fall retreats with, they came and held my meetings. They just jumped in and started to help. It was beautiful. And my husband with that golden handcuff job, those people did not support. That was before the family security. Some people don't take vacations. I don't get it. I'll take quality time, and vacations with family is my favorite thing on the planet almost. So I don't understand that, but you could back then give people vacation time if you weren't going to use it. No one did. They go, oh, his wife makes enough money. He doesn't need that. He took leave without pay so that he could be with my son for open heart surgery across the country. And so that was a turning point. That was a huge wake-up call to us. And maybe you've had that wake-up call. Teachers and medical people have had huge wake-up calls since COVID. Police officers, firemen, federal agents, huge wake-up calls in the last few years. Auto industry, I've lived here, on and off my whole life. Lots of wake-up calls. A lot of wake-up calls. So, I mean, this is something that if you will do it around life, when a wake-up call gets real for you instead of someone else, your plan B can become your plan A. But regardless of what the season in your life is right now, I guarantee you, Mary Kay taught us that when life is the toughest, put your makeup on, go and serve other women. Go and teach another woman how to feel beautiful. You never know. Her situation may be even worse than yours. And then come home, you get makeup a half off, put it back on again. If you have to put it on 5 times a day, it'll be better than counseling and coaching. And I'm not against those because those all have a place in our lives at different times with professionals. But this business, I can tell you, has been a godsend for me during challenging times. And we know, I mean, it could be a pet that dies. That's such a hard time that we don't really talk about. Like having to go and do a skincare class instead of just crying is a good thing. You're still going to mourn and grieve different things in our life. Empty nesters, kids going to school, all the stuff. So whatever the season in life is for you, you decide, like pre-decide. These are the minimums I'm going to do in my Mary Kay business, no matter what. And then this is the goal that I have. And you tell your director. And right now we're talking about October. You know what's going on in life. Tell her this is my weekly plan sheet. You guys, I did a whole bunch of coaching calls last month with people. And the number one thing that people didn't have is they don't use a weekly plan sheet. So you know what you want to achieve, but you're not planning it. It's like saying, okay, I'm going to be ready for Christmas, but I don't know when I'm shopping. I don't know where the money's coming from. Or like going to a job and not know what you're supposed to do. And you just sit there and don't do it. Like you're going to get fired. So a weekly plan sheet, I have those in the new consultant section. Those are also on Mary Kay in Touch, but I do have that on my website because I was alarmed how many people don't use a weekly plan sheet. You can use your day timer the same way or your planner the same way. Absolutely. You just have to be giving yourself time to do the things that you said that you're going to do that are congruent with your goals. And that's where your director, your business coach, and then a national's a business coach for the directors and those becoming directors is to make sure that the amount of time allotted equals the goals and the desires that you have. So having a weekly plan sheet and then also a retail goal every week. And how do you track that? I always had a piece of paper on the refrigerator. And so if you're doing Queen's Quarter sales, it's $8.50 retail. And so if I sold $50, I'd subtract 50 from it. So I did, 800 left. I wanted to be a little bit less because $7.99 sounds less than 800. And every day for a whole week that was on my refrigerator. I was also keeping track on that, how many basic skincare sets, because I knew I wanted to have blank amount a month. Are you getting your first 100 skincare customers or your next 100? Where are you at with that? Because that is a sustainable Mary Kay business in direct proportion to skincare customers. And then interviews, because we sell and recruit at the same time. So how many people am I talking to about the opportunity? Whether you're doing that with your director, whether you're plugging into events and she's teaching you how to do the follow-up, ask her, where am I at in this process? Some of you, your confidence in yourself and in the opportunity, you can start recruiting on day one. I love recruiting and I love this opportunity from day one. So I could recruit right from the beginning, even though I didn't really even know what I was doing. I just knew I knew enough that Debbie was going to teach us. And I believed enough in this opportunity and this company that I could sell it to people. And the products, once people try them, sell themselves. So this season for you, whatever it looks like, what is that plan going to be? In our country right now, I have found in my 38 years that in economies where there's inflation, where things cost more than they normally do, that we scoop up the customers that buy prestige lines. And we talked about this on our Clinical Solutions event a couple weeks ago that's saved on my YouTube. Very timely with the Focus in the Next Lookbook on clinical solutions and a brand new revolutionary, we're ahead of the game product that's going to be launched next month. So you would do well to make your perfect power start in Time-Wise Repair customers in October, because those women are most interested in clinical solutions. They're starting on skincare. And so when the new products come out, they will appreciate this new product and then probably be ready for some of the boosters and other items that we talked about on our clinical solutions event and training that, again, is on the YouTube channel. So we scoop up those customers and we keep them because they like having a personal consultant. They like saving money. I don't care how much money people have. I've never met anyone that says, Oh yeah, I do. I like the product just as well. And I can pay 38 for this booster, or I can pay 270 for this one at my med spa. I've never met anyone that says that. And if they do, like, they're the exception versus the rule, and there's nothing else you can do, you know, they're one of your no's. You get more no's than you do yeses. And, will you getting your name or number, their skincare, getting a skincare survey filled out? Will they give you their opinion of the product? Are they interested in the opportunity? Yes or no, 4 out of 5 say no, like, not, are you interested in the opportunity? You do a practice interview, you do get your opinion of the product. And then once they've tried it, are they interested or not? You still get more no's than yeses. So, that you accept that going in, and then it doesn't frustrate or disappoint you at all. But the season in our country is that you get time-wise repair customers right now. Med spas are our competition. We're saving people money, and recruiting should be higher for you now than it's ever been in your business, because more people need a plan B for all the reasons I already talked about, or a plan A to fill in the gap of what they don't have. And that is from college girls to women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. So in our world, we're in a perfect place. We're perfectly positioned marketing wise. And then, the season in Mary Kay, hybrid and virtual. We have a reach. You decide how you want to do that. But I will tell you, the rule of doing 10 Zoom parties, 10 FaceTime people just washing their face with you, 10 borrow my bag test panels, 10 skincare classes in person, 10 of the different kinds of, multiple line skincare classes, or just repair, or just like mother-daughter. 10 is the magic number, because again, it gets you to the point where you know what you don't know. And then all the training and resources make so much more sense. But this season in Mary Kay, I will tell you that when my mentors retired in 2019, January of 2019 and January 20, I was sad. They were my friends I traveled the world with. They were my mentors, my peers. I was like, gosh, I wished I would have retired with them. I look back now, I am so grateful that I didn't retire when they did. This is a very fun time in Mary Kay if you will embrace what this can be. Everyone is using virtually a little bit different, and that's fine. As long as you're getting the results, it's fine. I like Zoom because I like to see people's faces. I like to see body language. Some people are doing post my party, Facebook parties. Fine. Just like in person. Some like singles, doubles, bigger parties, trunk shows, office parties. You could do face models. Again, it doesn't matter. Mary Kay doesn't care as long as it's legal. I don't care as long as it's legal. But it's a time where you have a reach all over the country. And those of you who have just been in storm zones, like, it is very advantageous to have people that aren't having hurricanes. Those of you who are in the forest fire area right now in the west of our country, you want people all over the country so that you don't have all your eggs in one basket. That is just smart with any business, any financial decision. But the virtual piece allows you to do that. It's so much less cost. I had to get on airplanes a lot, and communication was so much more expensive than it is right now. This is a time period that literally, someone could build fast and strong. They can come in, get 8 people, be a sales director 2 months after they start, if they want to. And do they know all that someone who's been a consultant for 10 years knows? No, but they have all my resources, and they're going to learn consultant skills, because you don't stop being a consultant when you're a director. You just add on all the avenues of income that directors have. And you get, more leadership training. So you're still, if someone becomes a director fast, they're going to be learning the consultant skills as they're being a director. But I like that. I like the idea that people can do that, because if you already have the skills to lead, then let's get you into a director position ASAP. We can build fast and strong. I have seen it. Some people think it has to be slow to be strong, and that is not true. It depends on how fast, nothing's unrealistic in this business. if you're willing to work for it. And really, it's just the amount of ask that you're willing to do. So new season on the calendar right now. This is our fourth thing. We're heading into, obviously, the Christmas selling season. I was in retail management before Mary Kay, just because, like I told you, I did 3 internships, international banking. Nope, not doing that. In-person banking. Nope, not doing that. And then I did in the store retail. Nope, not doing that. So I did like the buying back of the retail stuff with a marketing degree and a psychology degree. But honestly, I was just like picking the things that I like to do the most, and I still had no idea. Like looking back, God knew that I'm supposed to be in this business. It allows me to do all the psychology, all the marketing that I want to. But retailing, I did know. You sell more from Thanksgiving to Christmas than you do the whole year combined. That's where you make all your money. And so that can be true of us, but I want to share with you, there's lots of gift ideas out there. There's Rock the Holidays. NSD Kristen Sharp does a fabulous job, compiling in the month of October. Every single day, there is an idea. Some of them, the ones that are shared now, you can use in October, but you're going to be able to listen to Rocktober, Rock the Holidays all through November and December for holiday ideas. But I want to caution you on this. My best recommendation is that listen to those ideas and you can't use all 30 of them. Everyone that teaches is teaching from their experience, from their, 10,000 hours. Generally, these are top directors and nationals. So they're teaching from 10,000 hours. What my experience has taught me is that there's some people that can sell a lot of stuff from Thanksgiving to Christmas, but January 1st, they have no new skincare customers. They have no new leads to book parties, and their business is totally flat in January. And people will say, January is a hard month. No, January is a hard month based on what you do in October, November, and December. If you are just a gift giver and selling gifts, then you have taken yourself off of your date book and you have to get back on the Perfect Start, Power Start, Pearls. And you also have to make sure that your inventory is not all messed up, because retailers keep holiday inventory separate from mainstream. Like I was in charge of a $3 million men's department, and that was 40 years ago. So I don't even know what that would be now, $20 million men's department. And they didn't have less underwear and ties and belts because it was Christmas. They added Christmas onto it. And after Christmas, they liquidated it, right? They ran a sale. So you want to look at, when you're looking at your evaluating your inventory situation, that does not include your Christmas. Like we used to take out lines of credit. Now you could use the same credit card and keep track of it, or a different credit card. And we'd order all of what we wanted to sell for Christmas. And that could be regular line stuff, but you don't get it mixed in with your roll-up bag inventory that you need for your faces. And so we'd figure out, like, okay, if I'm ordering 2,000 in September, we ordered it in September because that's when holiday launched, and it was sold out in a week, like gone from the company. So we ordered it in September, and then my goal was to sell 2,000 of it. So if I bought 2,000, it's worth 4,000, right? So if I bought 2,000 of it, like if you buy it in October, by Thanksgiving, I want to sell 2,000. So I've paid off that line of credit 100%. I may still have a line of credit for my regular line business, because you guys, businesses have lines of credit. Their families live really well. We live in the land of the auto industry. These families that have generational businesses, they started with one car lot that they probably had to use all their income, all their available credit, and they gradually paid it off. They didn't say, I'm going to buy one car, and then when someone sells it, then I'll have 2 cars, and then I'll have 3 cars or 4 cars. You guys, like, businesses aren't run that way. So, I mean, that's a hobby. That's like, okay, I'm scrapbooking, and so I'm going to get this much stuff now, and maybe this much stuff next time I do a scrapbooking, event or whatever. That's a hobby. That's not a business. Hobbies cost money. So if you're a hobby level consultant, know that it costs money. a business, whether you're doing it, very, very part-time or full-time, still should be run like a business. And so the initial inventory, or you need to build your inventory up. October is a good month to make that decision with the double credit opportunity. So that you pay down gradually. If you have other consumer debt, the interest is not a tax deduction, or you have more month-end money, so you need to stop putting things on credit cards, you use your Mary Kay profit for that and pay your line of credit down as slow as you can until all the other things are paid off and you have more money than month. Then you can pay chunks of that inventory off because there's a tax deduction on the interest on that, whereas there's not on this other stuff. But then your holiday inventory, you're keeping it separate. And so even if it's satin lips and oil-free eye, and there's some really pretty stuff coming out with this new line. But I mean, look at what you want to, if you want 2,000 profit for Christmas, buy 2,000 a product, do it totally separate from your regular inventory, sell 2,000 of it so that by Thanksgiving, it's paid off. The next 2,000 you sell of that inventory is pure profit. That's your money for your debt-free Christmas. You can help a single mom or a couple single moms with a Christmas with that. So that's your plan. And then anything that's left over after Christmas of that inventory, you liquidate. Anyone that buys skincare gets to shop out of your 40% off basket. Do a January open house and skincare. People always are interested in skincare in January, and then have a half off table. Anyone that buys skincare, or anyone that buys, $50 or more, they get an item at half off, and you could have a table that they can pick out from. We can get creative with that for sure. But you guys take a look at that, because in this season, you do need cash and carry. People shop. A lot of men shop the 24th. A lot of women shop the 24th. So of December, not October. Some people have already done. Let's talk about as soon as November, and someone says, if you are talking about parties or getting their opinion of the product, and they say, I have to wait till after the holidays, because it takes them the month of November to cook the turkey, and it takes them the whole month of December to prepare for that day. Then you immediately change your terminology to a holiday makeover. These are the dates I'm doing holiday makeovers. Everything's a holiday makeover. It's still skincare. It may just have red lipstick and black eyeliner. A dash out the door Christmas look. Spice it up after work for, going out, with the girlfriends for a Christmas, exchange. So everything's called a holiday makeover, but it's still doing skincare. And again, it can be fast or slow. You can always make them fast or slow, individual groups. But then when they get done, when you're saying which set's best for you, you figure out what they want. Then you say, have you finished your Christmas shopping? And if they say no, just say, who do you have to shop for? Maybe I can make this easier for you. And if she doesn't have time, then circle back around, set up a time. Like tomorrow's not a time. Tonight's not a time. Tonight at 7 is a time. Tomorrow at 1 at her lunch hour is a time. And who do you need to shop for? What is your price point? Okay, great. What about this? And just give her ideas. Give her ideas. And then I've had people buy hundreds and hundreds of dollars for themselves. A repair customer could buy $300, $400, $500, $600 herself. And then she buys another $300, $400, $500, $600 of Christmas stuff for gifts. Because I tell you what, if someone allowed me to Christmas shop like that versus online when I don't really know what it is, and also she's going to give them a gift certificate. I give all of the Christmas gifts a $25 gift certificate they can redeem by January 15th with me. That person can be anywhere in the country. She can do a Zoom facial with me, or customize a compact, do the skincare analyzer app, etc. So that's how you're taking it past just a gift going somewhere to potentially a customer coming back to you. But that's how I've always done holidays. If there's someone I know that has a business and they do gifts for employees, fine, I'll do that. But I'm not going to go cold calling businesses. I'm better off to do a Mary Kay party, get new skincare customers, get interviews set up, get bookings from bookings, and talk to each of those people after they're closing. Have you finished your Christmas shopping? So that by January, so in this season of October to December, in January, this 90 days has been used for momentum. You have that in your favor versus right now, you may be at a dead stop. And that's not fun. But you know what? We've all been there. And once you learn how to get off of a dead stop, it's just kind of like driving. It's like when you get to a stop sign, I stop and then I'm going to restart. Same thing in your Mary Kay business. But as you become more and more dependent on Mary Kay income, we're going to make sure that you slow down, but you don't ever totally stop. Because if this is a job and you need to pay these bills, we can't do the Zoom eat. So your director and myself, we're very well skilled in teaching you how to do that. Okay, you guys. So I think we talked about, I will tell you, we talked about events, playing by the Mary Kay rules of the game. There's 4 events a year that I was taught that you go to if you want to be successful. And I touched on this. Leadership, we already talked about. Those dates are set. I'm flying in the 5th because I don't like flying in on the 6th because winter weather delays. I want to catch everything. And on the 6th, we have a workshop with Joel Malm. He wrote a book called Vision Mapping, and we're having him come in. He actually lives in San Antonio. He takes people on these adventure tours all over. He's a Christ follower. He helps you like take your dreams and goals and turn it into a map. What a great way to start December. And myself and quite a few other nationals are partnering together to offer him to all of you live in San Antonio. Right there, people will pay thousands of dollars to be trained by him. I think the workshop may cost you $20 or $25. We're not sure yet what that's going to be, but all the added benefits, all personal growth. Like when people quit Mary Kay, it makes me sad. Well, first off, usually they're like, I'm quitting. I'm like, you haven't even started. If you haven't done a power start and pearls of sharing, like, what are you quitting? You're not quitting Mary Kay. I mean, you're quitting saying that you have a consultant number and you order things at cost, but that's not doing Mary Kay. But when you go to these events, all the added benefits, the personal growth, like I think of who I'd be if I quit because of a cancellation, because I quit because someone else quit, because I quit when lots of people quit. It makes me sad to think, like, I'm grateful that I took that seriously. The only way I can fail is to quit. And so I'm not quitting. So if I'm not quitting, what's my next best choice? That it's a lot less stressful than torturing yourself. Am I going to quit or not? Leadership conference dates already out there. So mine are the 5th through the 9th. I already have my plane ticket. Even if you're not a DIQ yet, get your plane ticket. It commits you. It's a non-negotiable. Career conference dates, we have those. I'm not sure if they're a Mary Kay in Touch, but I have them. So if they're not a Mary Kay in Touch, I can get those to the sales directors, pop them in the power lunch. So you can pick which city you're going to go to. And then, we'll keep you posted on when you register. Seminar dates. We're Sapphire. If you're listening to this from the Mary Kay National area, the seminar dates are on Mary Kay in Touch already. So you protect those times. You plan around it. You make money, like maybe you sell a repair set every month and the profit from it goes into an event fund. So you always have that money being paid for from your Mary Kay. When people say they can't afford it or they have something else going on, you haven't planned financially for it or time-wise for it. And Mary Kay said, success is a planned event. So you get childcare, you get pet care, you get elder care, you get backups for childcare, you get backups for elder care and pet care. You have backups on backups. Because as I shared with you, those different seasons of life I've worked through, I've had to have backups on backups on backups. But you know what? That's what you do. If you had a job that could pay you a 6-figure plus income, a retirement program and no car payment, plus trips and all these bonuses, you'd have backup on backup on backup. Like, that's a serious business. You guys, I want to close with 3 other thoughts. And then as you can see, you're going to have lots of time to digest this. You may not, I don't know what your directors have planned or what you have planned, but you may want to take some quiet time and just digest this. Pull up the Perfect Start, Power Start Pearls. That script, use Otten-Sweeney.com. It's under new consultant section. I know that it's there. And maybe you use this time to get those bookings in and get interviews set up so that right now You're using this time, then maybe you're having lunch and meeting with the people that you're there with, or maybe you're doing that and then this. Like, I'm giving you, by the time I get done talking, it'll probably be 11:20. You're going to have 40 minutes. What can you do in 40 minutes? I mean, you can sit there and visit with the people you're with, or you can sit there and just say, go and unload the dishwasher and, look at your inventory, or you can look at the welcome video. You can go through and do these things. Like, I always want it to be application soon after learning, because at events, whether it's online or in person, if you don't apply the information within 72 hours, you're most likely to be at the same place you are next year at this time that you are right now. And that thought doesn't make me excited at all. Like, I plug into training, I read, because I want to apply and adjust to it. And the closer it is to the time that you hear it, the more effective it is. Like right now, hopefully you're feeling good about your Mary Kay. Like, I'm hoping that you're not getting off going, I'm, depressed about Mary Kay. I mean, take the focus off of you and take the focus off of what you've experienced and look at what Mary Kay offers. Because if she offers this company offers this, you can have it too. We just have to change your attitude and your willingness. And if you do that, I guarantee you, I've never seen anyone that has a good attitude, they're willing, and they will be accountable. I mean, that is something that we talked about, having your weekly plan sheet, planning your work, but then how are you tracking it? Is it a focus file like Tina did the little video on? Is it a weekly summary sheet? Is it in your date book? How are you tracking? I shared with you how I tracked my sales and my skincare sets, a piece of paper on my refrigerator. That's how I tracked my activity until I was a director. And then I was tracking Cadillac. So it doesn't have to be big and complicated. Sometimes people spend more time setting up their tracking than they do work. So do what you need to do so that you've planned out when you're going to be a student, when you're going to do your work. And then you've planned out the activity that needs to fill in those spaces. Confirm with your director, this activity equals these results. Show her how you're going to track. And then how are you going to be accountable? Because just like when you're changing activity, when you're changing eating habits, when you're changing exercise habits, health habits, any habits, not smoking, not drinking, eating healthy, whatever the case may be, you generally need a coach. Because if you keep hanging out with the same people, doing the same thing, using the same amount of time, then you're going to slide back into what you were doing prior to jumping into this fall focus. And we all want to, 90 days from now in January, wake up in different momentum in our business, in a different place, financially, spiritually. Mary Kay has been so fantastic for me, because when you have a company based on God, family, and career, there's a lot of people that are talking about, their spiritual self. This is where I came to know Jesus. This is where I realized that those Bibles that I got for confirmation that had my name engraved on them, I was supposed to open them up and read them and apply that stuff. It's like Mary Kay wrote Matthew 25:14-30. It wasn't just a signature to keep on a dollar bill. It was an address to look up and, ask myself, why did she put this on a new director's dollar bill and hand it to me personally at her home? This is where I, knew, okay, I need a Bible. Kathy Halou said, get a life application Bible. So I did. Then Heather Carlson gave me an Experiencing God workbook. So I started to go through that all by myself, and then did it again and did it again and did it again. Because just like Mary Kay is unfamiliar to you, the Bible was very unfamiliar to me. I had never read, I had heard it. I grew up in denominations that they were in the pew. You left them there. You better not write in them, because those are the churches. And someone was talking at you and to you, but I never saw anyone in my family growing up, except for my paternal grandparents, have Bibles in the house and pull it out and apply it, not just to their Sunday life, but to their business, to their finances, to raising their kids, to their Monday through Friday life, to their Saturday life. And so if that's something you're just like, okay, while I'm growing my Mary Kay business, I want to grow more spiritually myself. And you know what? God's going to tell you that. He's the only one that can draw you to him. So know that you can do both of those at the same time. And I have resources on my website, Spiritual Journey. There's more stuff that's going to go in there. There's a playlist. on my YouTube. That has to be tweaked a little bit. The sermon I just shared with you at the start of this is already it's on YouTube from this week that you can look at. There's a how to journal, a little tutorial that I've done on YouTube. So do know that you growing yourself spiritually, if you're working with the company and you're representing the God that Mary Kay, look to for guidance on this, that if nothing else, I believe in God there's no reason why this company should still be around 61 years later. Think of how many companies are failing and have failed with all the changes in our world in the last 61 years. And we're not just surviving, we're thriving. That's God. So I wanted to know a little bit more about him. And if you do, then, feel free to reach out. But that is the roadmap. There's a roadmap spiritually, as there's a roadmap to success in Mary Kay. I wanted to share this with you. This was when I opened up a little devotional. It said, God, some days I feel unsure. I replay conversations in my head and question decisions I've made. I long for rest, for true security, and I can't find it. Help me to see myself as you do, to look in the mirror and see a precious creation made by a good Father. Teach me to be confident in my strengths and to acknowledge weaknesses without judgment. I pray for confidence to know who I am in you. Relieve me of self-doubt, Lord, and fill me instead with your peace. In Jesus' name, amen. And that, I think, is prayer that Mary Kay would be excited for you to pray, because she believed that much in women. She saw us from his perspective, and she desired for us to see ourselves from his perspective, because you guys, women make really different choices in their life, all along their life, and model very different choices to their kids based on, do they see themselves from the world's perspective, religion's perspective, or God's perspective? And this is the last thing I'm going to share. This is a story that's been shared many times in Mary Kay. I'll pop this into our power lunch. So if you're in the skyscraper area and you're not in my power lunch Voxer group, let's make that happen, because Voxer is where I do the majority of my communication with our national area. But this is a true story. And it says, there's a reason being physically in front of quality people matters. And this is from Susan Tejan, daughter of National Sales Director Nancy Tejan. And Nancy Tejan was like an icon when I started Mary Kay. She was just getting ready to retire. And it says, wow, 77 nationals and millionaires from one Mary Kay skincare class. The skincare class postponed 3 times. Look what happened. 33 years ago, there was a Mary Kay consultant in a small Minnesota town who was also a teacher. This teacher knew Mrs. Johnson, but didn't have the nerve to call her because Mrs. Johnson lived in a very nice house and owned 2 Cadillacs. At that time, the teacher was living in a modest 2-bedroom house and was driving a Volkswagen. The teacher was afraid to do a class for Mrs. Johnson, and for 6 weeks, she put it off. Finally, the month the teacher completed DIQ, which was in October of 1971, she made the call. Mrs. Johnson ended up hosting a party. At this party, someone arrived late, so the teacher booked her for a party of her own. This woman said, I only have 2 friends. Our persistent teacher told her, why not have them each bring a friend? The woman agreed. The party held, and the 2 friends each brought a guest. Both guests ended up booking. One of them turned out to be a party where over 7 basic skincare sets were sold. The other class, however, started postponing. In fact, this class postponed 3 times. My Aunt Jane Joy, who Anita booked and rescheduled 3 times. So this woman who's writing this, her Aunt Jane Joy, was booked by Anita Garrett Rowe, who's a retired national now. 3 times it rescheduled. Held the 3rd time, and more NSDs came out of that single class than any other in the history of Mary Kay Cosmetics. Moms, Nancy Tejan's mom, her sister Jane Joy, hostess, and NSD Emeritus Jean Curtis, and NSD Emeritus Nancy Tejan were at the class. So 2 NSDs were at that class. It postponed 3 times. And oh, by the way, they both said they weren't interested in doing Mary Kay. And as they say, the rest is history. At that class, the teacher met a shotgun shell packer who became an independent beauty consultant. That shotgun shell packer met a model who became a consultant. The shotgun shell packer also recruited a friend who ended up recruiting her sister. This sister was a homemaker and mother of 4 who was also a former nurse. This former nurse touched the life of a former nursing school classmate, and she became a consultant as well. The former nurse also met a poor mother of 2 who had to save up 3 weeks to purchase her starter kit. All these women became millionaires with Mary Kay. Senior National Sales Director Anita Mallory Garrett-Rowe, the teacher who recruited Executive National Sales Director Emeritus Nancy Tejan, the shell packer who recruited National Sales Director Emeritus Karen Strom, who was the model, and Executive National Sales Director Arlene Lenars, the former nurse, who recruited Executive National Sales Director Emeritus Marilyn Welly Villela, the nursing school classmate, and Senior National Sales Director Holly Zick, the mother of 2. To date, this was in 2 of 06. That one skincare class resulted in 56 women achieving the status of National Sales Director. And it's all because one independent beauty consultant kept a class on her books that had postponed 3 times. You know, and it says, are you interested in knowing who these women are? And I'll post this in our power lunch because it goes through and you'll recognize the names. This is not our lineage, but these are women that you know and are still some active nationals. 77 of them national sales directors. But the real kicker to the story is that everyone has a Mrs. Johnson, that teacher she was intimidated to talk to about having the class, that eventually she got the courage up. Aren't we happy? She got the courage up. Aren't we going to be happy that you get the courage up to do that perfect start, that power start, that pearls? Everyone, what would happen if everyone were to call her Mrs. Johnson? What wonderful miracles could be on the other end of that phone? On the phone, not text, not Facebook messaging, on the phone, so they can hear your voice. If you don't get them, you leave a voice text. And it sounds something like, oh my gosh, I have something really exciting to talk to you about. Give me a call back. Text me when you're available. Don't go into some long diatribe on her voiced message that she's not going to listen to. And you want a conversation on the phone. So we have to all go out and call our Mrs. Johnsons. You never know what will happen. What would your life be like today if someone had not introduced you to Mary Kay? That one gets me every time. It is so important to work through objections and be persistent. Never give up. And this list does not even include the international NSDs that have come from this either. Who do you need to add to the story? So you guys, thank you for joining me. I hope that this is a catalyst for growth. I pray that the Mrs. Johnsons out there get called because of that catalyst, that sense of urgency, positive expectancy, and that I cannot wait to hear. Like, you need to message me ASAP if you're going to be with me in San Antonio, because we need to be getting a giddy up on that, setting you up for a win-win November 1st. But I am excited to see what you do with this information. And as always, I'm always open to feedback. I am kind of feeling like once a quarter, we'll be doing a focus, a Zoom, and then people can gather together and use the rest of the day how they choose. All right, you guys, have an awesome afternoon. Thank you for being with me.